Hey everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of the WhateverCast by Bigedude. Today is episode 6, and it is April 19th, 2025, and I'm glad that you're alive today. I'm glad I'm alive today too, because today's awesome, you know? I'm recording this almost 4 p.m., and it's right before the WrestleMania 41 pre-show. And today, I know that a lot of the audience here in my past has been tied to the WWE Supercard game. And a lot of times, people from that world, they've been gone for years. And it's kind of neat, like every now and then when I'm doing these late night piano things, or streaming during the day or whatever, I multi-stream, and it's always so great when so many people, like it happens literally every stream, where somebody from the YouTube audience will say, bro, you were my childhood, from like 10 years ago, and it's so beautiful, and I'm always so thankful of that. And well, today what I want to talk about is why I love wrestling and why I love theater and all of the different things that go along with it. And right now we're exiting the cave of rebirth, and we always invite you to relax during that time and let go, take a big emotional dump. One thing I like to say is you're going to take a breath, and you're going to say to yourself, everything is temporary. I'm going to take a breath to clear my head and all that good stuff, or whatever you feel like saying. But just say everything is temporary first, because everything is temporary. And here we go. And don't breathe in just yet. Just wait for a couple seconds. Because that breath in, when you take it, it's going to feel so good. Isn't that cool? I want to have a little drink here. So, a lot of people ask me sometimes here and there about why I like wrestling, or who's my favorite this or all this. And I just wanted to talk about why I have a special connection with wrestling and or sports entertainment, whichever you want to call it. I got some phlegm here today. And I've always loved performing. I've always loved being perceived, I've always loved being on, as they say. Because something about me just always has understood what it was like to do, just be in front of people and just be something. So I think I've always loved theater in general. I remember, I don't know if I've said this story on. I think I said it in one of the regular streams. Remember, if the date is over here on this side, that means that this was recorded without a live audience. So this is what we call the WhateverCast, because it's whatever this vibe is. And we talk about whatever we're talking about that day. And I also am playing the piano while this is happening, and sometimes I get lost while I'm doing this. And it's basically just a free form conscious thing of, and there's a topic in there, or a tangent of topics, or a plethora of pinatas or whatever. And it's just basically of a chronicle of my life and some stuff that, people might want to know someday, or, maybe I'll want to remember someday, Who knows how this all goes? I don't know. But anyways, I also took a break from last week. I needed to just enjoy that episode there, why I left teaching and all that. And it was a weird week this week. I had a lot of awesome stuff happen every day. And I just wanted to relax and recharge, and it's convention season's coming up and a bunch of other cool things, so I'm excited about everything. And WrestleMania's in a couple hours, so it's such a weird thing for me this year, because I was at WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia last year, and just some things are a lot different right now. I'm not anywhere near as excited this year as I was last year, but I was there last year, and there's some cool things that are exciting about it. But there's just and I know I'll enjoy the product, because I always do. So there we go. And just I've changed some. People in my world have changed some, and pardon me for that. I got like a froggy for ribbit in the throat. It's been fluctuating temperature wise there. It's like 70 something today. It was like 40 the other day. It's been all over the place. It's like, I don't know, crazy weather. But anyways, so one of the stories that I love, basically it's what I feel is my quote unquote first theater story. I was in kindergarten, and I was one of the ones that could read when they started kindergarten. And so when it came like near the end of the year, with Peter Cottontail, we had a play. We did the little Peter Cottontail play or something like that. And I was the narrator. And then everybody else was doing their stuff. And when my mom and dad would tell me, like, and when all the other people were doing like the little hippity hoppies, they're acting out and stuff, I was just watching, because I knew I loved it. I loved not just performing or whatever, or just being in front of people. I loved watching everybody do their own thing. There's a lot of parallels to who I am now as a person, for those of you that know who I am or have known who I am. And isn't that amazing? I mean, like 5 or 6 years old at that point, I was 6 actually. Because my birthday is late. So like I started kindergarten when I was like 5 and a half. I'll get rid of this. I swear. But my favorite thing is that there's always things that go wrong in the theater. There's always things that go right in the theater. I remember in this kindergarten play, the word chamomile for chamomile tea. And I don't think I'd ever seen that word before when I was 6. And so I basically, it was Kama tea. Like I just kept on going on, and I didn't lose any momentum after that. I just kept on going, and it's kind of like all of those formative things, like being good at improvisation and just making things up and just feeling just natural stuff. They've always been a part of me, which I trace back to that moment for really knowing that. And also one of the old cool videos on this channel is, and it stems from this thing too. You'll see if you search the 40-something-year-old talks to himself as a kid. It's a 40-year-old tape because I was like 2 and 3 or whatever, singing like "Hey Diddle Diddle," and hey, what doing? And so I had a conversation with myself that was on a tape. It's a really cool video, in my opinion. But I was basically having a conversation with myself, 40 years separated or whatever it was, more than 40 because it was a few years ago. But it was just so cool. And, I would change things too because I love to improvise and stuff. Little Miss Muffet sat her tuffet eating her curds and whey. Along came a spider. Oh no! And that's just where it ended. It was just like, gotcha. It was something different and silly. I think that just encapsulates, wow, me in general, just different and silly. But with some heart in there, I suppose. And a touch of good stuffs and that, and hopes and all that. But I've always loved performing, so I wanted to be in front of people a lot, and I would later find out that I just loved performing, but I also loved the quiet too. And I learned that was part of the INFJ thing. Which is interesting. But anyways, I remember just being on stage as much as I could possibly be in a very small town. It wasn't often or a lot. And I went to college for music, but I wanted to, do the musicals and stuff. So I got involved with a lot of opera productions, and I used to sing in the operas and stuff. But I knew that there would be a time where I wouldn't want to perform, where I'd want to, maybe teach it, because that was the goal was, I would do the musicals, and I did. So, goal accepted, goal, GG's, whatever, achievement unlocked or whatever. And there's just something about putting on a show. There's something about watching a show because you see all the little pieces. Everybody's got an important role, whether they're a lead or there's always one person in the chorus that you always connect with when you're watching those shows, because there's always one person that really is there, and they're there. And I love those people so much. The ones that, no matter how big or how small their part is, they are in that part. And I loved discovering people like that, as the guy, I love discovering people that as the viewer too, now that I'm out of teaching for almost 4 years now, which is crazy. We just hit the halfway point, in that last episode. And that was pretty cool. Actually, no, that was before the last episode. We just hit that, we hit the halfway point last Saturday, a week ago today, on the 12th. That was kind of crazy. That had been 3 3/4 years since I left teaching. And then this week was full of a lot of recharging and still a lot of amazing things. So, but anyways, I forgot that I took the break last week. For a second, from the WhateverCast. And I just think that, this is Shrek's eyeball. And remember, inside there's a tree, and that's the tree of your goals this week. So don't forget to figure out what your goals are this week. But you don't have to do that right now. You can do that later, It'll come back one more time at least. This will probably be a 33 episode. I like that time area. I'll stop it at 33, and sometimes it'll show up as 33, 35 or whatever. It is what it is. Life isn't perfect, and this is not. This is basically a free-flowing stream of consciousness thing where sometimes I just get lost in the music and lost in the backdrop and just And it's beautiful for me because I'm just being myself in this moment. And sometimes we get distracted, and sometimes we get a little off on tangents and stuff. But the cool thing is that I always get back to where I need to be, mentally, and telling the stories or what we hope to do. Because I haven't forgotten that this is all about wrestling and why I like it. Wrestling is theater. It's physical theater, and I've loved being a part of the theater proper, as a participant, as a advisor, as the person in charge, and as a viewer or supporter of the arts. I think that there's so many wonderful opportunities for people to connect with people in through theater and or the arts, in the physical realms and in the digital void. There's some really amazing people out there, and I think that's cool. But the theater is something where everybody works together, and in a couple of hours, everybody in the WWE is going to be working together for night one of WrestleMania 41. And it'll be interesting, how well it's received, because remember, I'm recording this before anything is going on. Think the pre-game show just started, but the whole thing is that I've always had a beautiful connection with theater proper, participant, all the stuff in high school, and then all the operas in college, and then all of the shows, I directed and or assisted with, and just so many different things. There's something about putting on a show. You work so hard for so long, and then you have your show week where everything goes wrong and some things go right and some things never get this. It's the theater is such a human experience, because there's always going to be so many wonderful things that happen and go right, and there's always going to be so many wonderful things that don't go right, that screw things up, but you just keep on going. The show must go on, just like humanity. It's a metaphor for all of us. That's my opinion. Some of you may get it, some of you may not. But the whole thing is, there's a lot of theater in everyday life, and there's different types of theater. Kind of got lost for a second, but I was happy. I was feeling some cool energies for a second. I'm in a really great state of mind recently, the last few months. I talk about it all the time, probably too much, but I don't care. I feel wonderful. I feel whole in who I am. And something just made me smile. But I've always made the connection with wrestling. Wrestling is storytelling. Theater is storytelling. You have a stage. You have a stage proper where everybody's watching. These are art forms that are meant to be perceived. The actors and on stage, the physical actors in the arena, because wrestling is physical acting, and telling stories through movement and motion, like a dance, if you will, with body slams and pile drivers and pedigrees and curb stomps. Oh my. And it's not just seeing it, it's connecting to people that also enjoy it. You know, there's some people on the internet that really, that are also streamers that really have a wonderful group of people around them that will watch performances or see a streamer who performs a lot. And there's so many art forms that are happening all over the place. And streaming is a really cool theater thing too, I think. You know, some people have turned their streams into multi-dimensional things, and it's amazing to see what will happen next. You know, and there's streamers that will have IRL things where it's not theater per se, it's real life, but it feels like you're watching a show. Like, it feels like it's theater, you know? There's all sorts of different types of theater in the streaming and creator spaces and stuff. And, you know, theater's everywhere. And that's so cool. But, you know, also in wrestling, you have like the entrance music that gives you a connection to the character. That's just like a theme in an opera, like bum bum ba-dum bum 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 ba-dum bum bum, the Flight of the Valkyries, you know, and Siegfried's Call and all that cool stuff from, you know, Richard Wagner's Ring of the Nibelungen, you know. Or the Bugs Bunny opera thing with Elmer Fudd. I used to play that video for students to show to help kids understand what opera was. We would play the Bugs Bunny ring. You all know what I'm talking about. Just look up Bugs Bunny opera, and you'll see what it is. And then we would also play the Bugs Bunny one where the tenor guy is singing and all that stuff, because he was mean to him. So he just trolled him while he was performing and stuff. It's kind of interesting. Anyways, so I would, perform, or we would play those just to, I always loved making connections. Also, we would use the Barbara Seville one, where Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd are in the barbershop thing. And because it could connect the opera stuff with stuff that they understood, cartoons, And there's been a lot of other things, but because opera is theater in the highest form, in my opinion, because you have you have everything and ridiculously hard levels of singing. Musical theater is great, and they're all great. Please don't get me wrong. But anyways, getting back to why I like wrestling, you have the same elements in theater: the physical spectacle, costumes, ring gear. The stage is the ring, sometimes outside of the ring, That's like sometimes like when you're in a play or a show, like some of the actors come down the aisles. It happens a lot, And we're like, oh my God, they're like right here. Back in the day, this is one of my fun stories. The day after WrestleMania 29, my buddy and we went to the Monday Night Raw, and this is 2013. And this was when The Shield was popular. And I was seated right at the edge of the row. And Roman Reigns literally walked right by me. I tapped him on the shoulder, and you could see me going like, ah, like a crazy person. You could see that on the video if you looked at it. It's like, I don't remember what day it is, but it's the day after WrestleMania 29. It's like 2013, like March or April, something. I don't remember. Whatever. I'm not going to go look it up. This is like a 33, like, and it's done, But it was funny when certain people of the supercar community, the WWE supercar community, found it, and they said, this guy is this guy, you know. And here's the cave of the rebirth, and we always remind you, you can take a deep breath. Just take a deep breath and relax for a second. Let go of all your problems, and don't worry, they'll all come back in a couple seconds. But you'll feel like, hey, for a couple seconds, I didn't think about my problems, and that was cool. I felt peaceful. Yeah, or whatever, you know. Remember, this is really kind of just for me, and also just, you know, I'm glad that other people enjoy this. I've gotten so many wonderful comments recently, not just in streams, but on videos again, and it's beautiful. And I'm just so thankful to have connected with so many people over different hobbies, like, you know, singing or voice lessons or piano lessons or gaming and musical comedy. Yeah, buddy. Silly songs that I've written. And all the silly stuff and fun stuff I'll do in the future. Because it's kind of all theater, you know? Just like, you know, all the world's a stage and we're just merely the players. What if we are theater for like higher life forms? It's possible. You know, like, let's say the entire history of this universe and what will happen with all of it is just like one file on some other huge computer somewhere. And every now and then somebody will click the I'm feeling lucky button and just see like the entire history of Earth, you know, in a second. And maybe they'll just think of like, wow, wrestling is cool. You know, or I wonder what these guys came up with today. Like, you know, it's kind of like, I haven't played much Sims, but like, it's like just, you know, what would the Sims be if you just, well, like, what would a universe like that had the Sims, or what if you just had a universe by itself and be like, all right, bam, I'll see you in like a couple of days. But that's like, you know, for them, because time is a construct or whatever. And then the entire, you know, from beginning to heat death of the universe or whatever, was like 2 days to this other being. Like, it's unfathomable to really think about, you know. It's everything is so small and so big at the same time. I mean, imagine there's 100 billion stars in the Milky Way in one galaxy. Okay, 100 billion. That's so many. We talk about this a lot. So everything is so small, but we're also so big. You know, we gotta eat and survive, and you know, we have our distractions, our politics, our technologies, our connectivities, our social medias, and wrestling and theater. We're all just here, and I hope that you're having a good day, because I'm having a really good day. I'm really excited about today. There's a lot of hope and wonder and joy and love in all of my days right now, and I feel whole in who I am, and it feels beautiful. And I just feel that everything is unfolding as it should, and there's so much cool stuff that's about to happen in my world, and I have no idea what it's going to be, but it's going to be amazing. I just feel like, you know, something's coming, something's good. You know, I have had this feeling for a while now, and it's just beautiful. But anyways, this is the best day, because today is just today. It's the best today I'll ever have on April 19th, 2025. And I'm going to start the end outro thing and play the last chords and talk about the last little things. And thanks for being a part of my world, everyone. This is fun. I'm having a lot of fun here, and I can't wait to see what happens next. Yeah, buddy. First, I want to say shout out to Bigedude for giving me life. Smile for Bigedude. Shout out to Biggie Mom. I get to see her tomorrow on Easter. And my family. Shout out to everybody that watches this. You're awesome. Shout out to everybody that comments. You know, I really love that my life is filled with so many aesthetic experiences, and wrestling is a big part of it, you know? All those entrances, all the storytelling, the drama, the heel turns, the face turns, the crowd interactions, yeet, no yeet. All the stuff that wrestling is, all the stuff that entertainment is, all the stuff that humanity is, all the good stuff. I want to focus on the good stuff because there's so many people that they're focusing on the bad stuff, or, oh, this side does this and this side does this and blah, 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 blah. And you're just losing the point, I think. None of this matters. Let's just be cool to each other and use what we've got to help evolve into a better world, you know? That's my opinion. Not everybody feels the same way. And you don't need to. I've got my opinions, and that's what they are. But I love y'all. I love this little biome thing. This was arkadia.xyz today, and we're about to hit the last chords. But be good, because you're awesome. Happy today, you're awesome. Remember, you can check out my music if you want. Bigedude, LBK2V, 3AD4L, and this is the last chord. I love you. Goodbye. Have a nice day. You're amazing. Goodbye.